This is Eswatini TV News at 10. I am Nathalie Sitole alongside Zamazimaze. First up, here's a look at our headlining stories tonight. Deputy Prime Minister Thuli Dladla says the government of Eswatini has made great strides by enacting laws that empower women. The suspects accused of being involved in the murder of South African artist AKA have opposed the Crown's application to detain for investigative purposes the phones found in their possession when they were taken into custody. Heads up, the National Disaster Management Agency continues to send warnings of the potential significant deterioration in weather conditions. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Women and girls in Eswatini continue to face challenges such as gender-based violence, early unintended pregnancies and period poverty. The Deputy Prime Minister says despite these issues, the government of Eswatini has made great strides in investing in women by enacting and operationalizing laws that empower women. The Deputy Prime Minister was speaking during the 68th session of the Commission on the Status of Women held in New York.
The 2 weeks conference is held under the theme Accelerating the Achievement of Gender Equality and the Empowerment of All Women and Girls by Addressing Poverty and Strengthening Institutions and Financing with Gender Perspective. Speaking during the conference, the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Thuli Dladla, highlighted some of the challenges faced by women and girls.
It is disheartening to note that gender disparities still exist, rendering women and girls the most vulnerable members of our society. They face challenges such as gender-based violence, unemployment, poverty, poor sanitation, early and unintended pregnancy, period poverty, sexual violence. The timing of this theme, therefore, Mr. Chair, couldn't be more appropriate. Factors like COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, inflation, and conflicts continue to exacerbate these challenges.
Dladla further highlighted the efforts undertaken by the government of Eswatini, which includes review and adoption of the National Gender Policy of 2023, the adoption of interministerial policies and programs to mainstream gender across all sectors, and the Citizenship Economic Empowerment Act of 2023, among other initiatives. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni Babane.
The suspects accused of having a hand in the murder of South African rapper Kiernan aka Forbes and his friend Tebelo Tips Motsoane vehemently opposed the application by the Crown to detain and use for investigations the mobile phones that were found in their possession when they were arrested. They fear that the information extracted from the mobile phones may be used in the extradition case. The suspects are Siyabonga Kezani Ndimande and Malusi Dave Ndimande, who are both South Africans.
10 mobile phones include a black Nokia, grey Samsung F13, navy blue Huawei and Vivo Y21. These cell phones are detained by the Crown following a provisional order that was issued by Principal Magistrate David Khumalo last Tuesday, when the suspect made their second court appearance. On Tuesday, when the case resumed, the Principal Crown Counsel Macebo Nxumalo applied for the provisional order to be made final.
The only duty for this honorable court, Your Lordship, is to determine, upon perusal of the application, Your Lordship, whether the contents shows that there is a prima facie case against the respondents, Your Lordship, upon which they are required to answer in their home country, Your Lordship. In short, Your Lordship, we indicated that we are abandoning the issue of the release of the cell phones to South African police lordship today. That will be pursued in the near future.
The accused person's legal representative, lawyer Sivesonke Ngwenya, strongly opposes the Crown application, saying it will prejudice his clients.
My learned friend is preempting the contents that will be contained in the application for extradition. He has just made a submission before this honorable court to say the cell phones will not form part of the extradition application. However, my lord, the question then becomes, how does the applicant know that? Because we are not the requesting state. The requesting state is the Republic of South Africa. They've been making submissions to say they're waiting for an application from the Republic of South Africa. How is it then possible now, my lord, before court to know the content contained therein and whether or not the cell phone will be involved or not? We have a provisional detention order, my lord, which means the status quo prevailing will still be maintained with respect, my lord. There will be no prejudice, because that's the main question, my lord. What prejudice is the applicant going to suffer in the existence of the provisional detention order? The question is none, my lord. Then we come to the second leg of my learned friend's submission to say, no, we have then elected to abandon the detention of the cell phones for onward transmission to the Republic of South Africa. Then this very same question still exists, my lord. Then what prejudice are they going to suffer? Because now they've abandoned the application and the cell phones are currently in their possession, my lord, through that provisional order, my lord.
Manzini Magistrate Court Principal Magistrate David Kumalo says the legal representative failed to convince the court how they will be prejudiced by the provisional order if made final, but he mentioned that he heard that the phones will be used in investigating the matter. He says the cell phones are linked or direct or indirect to the extradition application that is yet to be filed. He adds that this is because the extradition application is linked to the criminal trial that is being requested by the requesting state. He further mentions that the cell phones are interlinked to the criminal trial, as it has been hinted that the cell phones will be given to South African National Prosecution Authority. Kumalo says court maintains provisional order pending final determination awaiting the extradition application. The matter will return in court on March 20th, 2024. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Manzini Magistrate Court.
Following a weather warning of heavy rains and strong winds that are expected to hit the eastern part of Eswatini from tonight to tomorrow morning, the Eswatini National Disaster Management Agency and the Eswatini Meteorological Services are closely monitoring Tropical Cyclone Filippo. The NDMA and Meteorological Services Department say Tropical Cyclone Filippo is currently in Mozambique and it is expected to intensify into a severe tropical storm. The NDMA alerts Eswatini about the potential significant deterioration in weather conditions, including strong winds and heavy rainfall. Anticipated rainfall amounts range from 50 to 100 millimeters is expected from midnight into the morning. The two entities also say strong winds reaching speeds of 50 to 80 kilometers per hour are anticipated. Science Subject Inspector in the Ministry of Education and Training, Phumlile Dlamini, says the ministry has prioritized the science subject and made it a core subject in order for learners to fall in love with it. She says even female learners have now fallen in love with the subject.
The inspector of the science subject in the Ministry of Education, Phumlile Dlamini, said school programs adopts and enables the enlightenment of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and they've worked hard in ensuring that learners fall in love with the science subject.
Our children should be exposed and grounded to scientific knowledge so that they can use the knowledge in order to solve life problems. Our school system, therefore, adapts and prepares our learners for the future workforce, where we are saying we want to move on to all these technologies that improve the economy. So the Ministry of Education is committed to ensure that STEM in the country is strengthened and the system is preparing our learners for a workforce that will adjust skills to keep up with the galloping technology worldwide.
She says learners have embraced the science and mathematics subjects, including girls. This week till the 17th of March is the Engineering and Science Week. Reporting, I am Kian Msibi, Mbabane.
Pupils from different schools continue to come in numbers for registration following an announcement by the Deputy Prime Minister's office that orphaned and vulnerable pupils who lack deposit for school should come forward with proof of the needed funds. The Deputy President of Eswatini School Committees and Parents Association, Sisana Mamba, commends government for this intervention.
Pupils from across the 4 regions of Eswatini, particularly orphans and vulnerable children facing financial constraints for school deposits, have responded positively to the call made by the Deputy Prime Minister's office. The announcement urged pupils who were unable to attend school due to financial hurdles to register for assistance and resume their studies. As Kapa Deputy President Sisana Mamba praised the government's intervention, noting that many eMaswati, especially vulnerable children, lack the financial means to access education.
Sijabula kakhulu Mlangeni ukuthi uhulumende ayisukumele lenzaba. Ngaloko ukuthi nalamakhaya kuhletiwe batali abasebenzi. Kude ngisobele ukubalisha nje lona lamakhaya. Ake ngibekise nje labehlanzeni la ngikhona khona. Bantu base bayazama kulima labalime ngaNovember bakatholi lutho. Uthole kancane lapho labaqale ngaOctober uyabona ukuthi lesimo sibi. Uyahamba umntwana esikoleni noma ngaba kayi noma ngabe sekhaya phela kuyadingeka ukuthi adle. Kepha nje lokhu la kwenta kohulumende siyakuthokotela kakhulu Nkosi yami. Kuyinto lenhle siyakukhuthaza siyinhlangano yebatali njengoba sibhekile phela ukuthi Nkosi yami bantwana bethu beMaswati bayithole imfundo.
Social Welfare Director Mkusi Shongwe stated that the registration number have seen a significant increase since it resumes on Monday, with compilation scheduled for Thursday. The registration period is expected to conclude on Wednesday. For Eswatini TV News, Ndomlangeni, Bendulo Gumbi, Mbabane.
Corp has disbursed 26 million emalangeni to small and medium enterprises in the sugarcane industry since the year 2022. The managing director, Dumsani Msibi, says their intention is to play their role in helping the country attain clean energy whilst ensuring that businesses are able to make meaningful profits.
We have now invested just above 25 million emalangeni into projects that have installed solar. I know that as of the end of the financial year, which is the annual report that is being discussed these days, it was as low as 6 million. But within that 11 months from there on to now, there's been an added investment that is in excess of 20 million in this project. And why is that the case? I go back, it's the extent to which the investments depend on electricity. We will all accept that if we do not do anything about it, the investments are at risk. And we don't want to see that. But also, we will agree that the component of energy in these projects compared to the costs that then come with it, does speak to the viability and sustainability of these projects. And therefore, we took the view that we would start with the sugarcane farmers. For a simple reason, they have the cash flows, but they also use a significant amount of electricity.
The Commissioner of Cooperatives, Russell Ngumalo, says they will be working tirelessly to ensure that cooperatives regulatory legislations are being followed by all cooperatives in an effort to safeguard eMaswati's finances. The Commissioner said this when explaining the different issues he intends to address as he takes office.
We found that a lot of co-ops do not want to comply with the statutes. So we're really working hard on getting them to get back to towing the line, if I may put it. We also have another issue. Currently, we want to have a policy. We used to have a policy. Unfortunately, it has sort of expired. So we will be working on getting a policy to sort of regulate co-ops. Mainly, it's been centering around board members not wanting to vacate office upon expiry of their term. We've also had quite a few co-ops where you'll find that there was mismanagement of funds, sometimes even bordering on embezzlement, where they sort of deviate from the constitution of that co-op. So we've sort of tried to work on bringing them back into line, because as we know, even their policies, our act supersedes their policies. So if they're not following our act, then it's sort of, I would say, it shortchanges members of that co-op. There's also the Financial Services Regulatory Act, which they also have to comply with. So working hand in hand with FSRA, we are trying to bring them to order.
And now let's have a look at our financial indicators.
Standard Bank, it can be.
Moving on with the bulletin, in a bid to empower women and youth in agriculture, the Women Farmer Foundation has announced an exciting opportunity. Women and youth stand a chance to receive mentorship, training, and financial support. According to the communications officer of the Women Farmer Foundation, the competition has been growing each year, offering more opportunities for aspiring farmers. Zwane encourages young women to participate, emphasizing the role it can play in addressing issues of unemployment.
Women and female youth farmers can start applying for the competition. We are looking specifically for women and female youth who are operating on Swazi Nation land, who have at least been in business for a year, to join the competition and show the world the work that women are capable of doing. Women Farmer is very big on promoting the business side of agriculture, to say that women and youth should participate and they should start businesses so that they may grow from a subsistence level to a semi-commercial and commercial level of farming. And so the competition is a way that we are able to identify, recognize, and then celebrate the women farmers and the youth farmers across Eswatini, and able to develop them as well. So through the competition, we have seen such great development of our women and youth farmers from when we started in 2007, and there were only less than 100 applicants, to what we have now, where last year we had close to 300 applicants, where now number one last year got over 137,000 emalangeni worth of prizes, and our number one youth got over 62,000 worth of prizes.
Accused person Keta Shongwe, who stands accused of raping a 15-year-old girl, blames Lokwazela community members for sending the girl to try and stage the whole incident and create an impression that he raped her. The accused is 30 years old.
The accused person, Keta Shongwe, told the court that on March 7, 2024, while at Lokwazela, he was arrested by Sitfoboto police for allegedly contravening the Section Offences and Domestic Violence Act. Shongwe mentioned that he appeared before the Manzini Magistrate Court for a remand on the 11th of March 2024. He further mentioned that he is currently remanded at Zakhele Remand Center. He also submitted that inasmuch as he is fully aware of the complainant, but he disputed the incident that allegedly occurred on the 10th of February 2024. He further strongly disputed the charge, adding that the complainant is fully aware of that. Shongwe said during trial he intends to plead not guilty to the offense of rape, as it never took place as alleged in the charge sheet or any other day. He added that he has so many witnesses that will testify to the state that on the date alleged, he was not near the place mentioned on the charge sheet, being the place where the act allegedly took place. He added that he will further plead that The complainant was sent by some other community members to try and stage the whole incident and create the impression that he had raped her. He told the court that he is currently employed as a groundsman at a Magwaza homestead where he looks after livestock and taking care of the entire homestead. Shonge also stated that his continued incarceration will be prejudicial to his work as he risks losing it while kept in custody. He said it is difficult to secure employment these days. High Court Judge Bonkosi Makakula fixed his bail at 50,000 emalangeni. He said he should pay 3,000 emalangeni, the rest being surety. Shonge was represented by his lawyer Nomfundo Philile Hlophe of Sithole and Makakula attorneys. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, High Court.
The Michael Lee Enterprise General Manager Steve Hu says they are interested in helping with development in Eswatini, such as infrastructure. Hu was addressing the elderly during a donation of blankets worth 40,000 emalangeni at Luhumaneni community.
It was a very joyful moment to the elderly when the Michael Lee Enterprise donated blanket and giving 200 emalangeni on top. The General Manager Stephen Hu says it is a way of giving back to the community.
We hope these people can support our companies to do the operation the better, and we can we have a chance to hire more people to do our jobs.
The Chief Prince Dlalutzaga from the Hele Hele Chiefdom and Chief Mabalega Mnina from Ego Finjolweni Chiefdom expressed their extended gratitude to the mine. Also, the beneficiaries representative Elina Mkwena extended her gratitude for such gesture.
As the chief, I extend my gratitude to the mine, and I urge Emaswati to work in hand with the company. This is a very beautiful thing, and it is good to have communities developed.
The mine also donated 4 electric stoves and 5,000 emalangeni to the Luhumaneni Anglican Primary School.
We are going to operate the companies in this country for more than 25 years, and we are happy to, at the future, to have you to work with us.
Ngicela kusho nje nguphakamise lokhu lesikubona namuhla ukuthi kuyingqophamlando. Sibonga kakhulu inkosi yasezulwini. Le kungiyona lento lelisulayo ukuthi namhla besingaba nale nhlanganiso sitowemukela lesibusiso lesingaka. Siyacela nakubola abadzala ukuthi basendlulisele kubona nasenkosini yethu lekungiyona lengumnikati welive nalaba labasitako lesitsondzako ukuthi bakhona ngoba bathi nini tenkosi.
The mine in total donated things worth 65,000 emalangeni. Reporting in Cindy Sazwane with Fabrice Msonera and Komazi.
Moving on to sports, Eswatini Rugby Union President Bandile Vilagati says a program of selecting future stars of the national team Sizeze is already underway, with the association looking to at least have 4 international games for the national team for the very first time in over 2 years. Vilagati says this is done to rectify the current poor performance of the national team.
There's been a huge problem at the rugby national team Sizeze that has seen the team fail to compete and be it regionally and international for the past 2 years, which has resulted in seeing the worst rugby rankings for the country. And the outcome is not a pleasing situation for the association that is headed by President Bandile Vilagati, who has now launched, or rather introduced, a new program that is aimed at selecting players who could soon begin to compete for the country.
Suka emkhathini weminyaka lophelile kuze kuyophela umnyaka wa 2023 nasekuqaleni kwawo umnyaka wa 2024. minyaka lehlukene ke iminyaka yema under 23 neminyaka yema under 18 lapho khona sibuka ukuthi mhlawumbe bangakhona ukuthi njengala namhla sikaho kungaphuma licembu lalabadlali kulama ageless engiwashito lapho khona litawukhona ukuthi malihlanganiswa nelicembu lakamali limele emanzini lelicembu limele lishiswe yona libombo bakhona ukuthi phindze futhi bahlanganiswe phindze futhi ke bacaniwe ukuze kutohlunga licembu kulama groups litawukhona ukuthi kube ngilona licembu lesive.
At least 4 international games for Sizeze are an option this year, as Virgat mentioned that this will then mean the country will have to produce a league that is competitive to be able to compete outside the country. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Babane.
Vows have been renewed between the Athletics Association and the Premier League of Eswatini that will once again see athletes competing during Premier League games. This is one way of getting local athletes used to performing in front of a big crowd. The agreement between the two parties returns after it was put on hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
In 2020, Athletics Association of Eswatini signed a memorandum of understanding with Premier League of Eswatini to see athletics taking center stage during local Premier League games, especially on games that have gathered majority of local supporters. The agreement went on to take a break as the sporting fraternity was hit by COVID-19. This past weekend, the agreement was back on the table during the inaugural Ngwenyama Cup semi-final games at Somplo National Stadium. Chief Operations Officer of Eswatini Athletics Association, Toba Mazibuko, says the return of the games will play a key role in boosting athletes' confidence to be able to compete in front of a huge crowd.
Kuyasita kakhulu ke ngoba kuyasita sima competition ethu abe maningi kanti ke nalokuthi ama athletes ethu lamanye akadayile lokuthi agijime in front of so many people, so kuyabasita naloko just to prepare them for international games where the stage is bigger. We have a lot of spectators, so kuyasita ukuthi bakudayile naloko ukuthi ke mawusembike bantu ufaka umfutho wakho lo wonke lo nawo, so naloko kuyasita because kuya improve leli zinga lale competition yethu.
The return of the agreement is in line with the Athletics Association's preparation for different international competitions. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera with Linda Dlamini, Lobamba.
That's all for now. Before I go, here's a reminder of our top stories tonight. Deputy Prime Minister Thuli Dladla says the government of Eswatini has made great strides by enacting laws that empower women. The suspects accused of being involved in the murder of South African artist, aka, have opposed the Crown's application to detain for investigative purposes the phones found in their possession when they were taken into custody. Heads up, the National Disaster Management Agency continues to send warnings of the potential significant deterioration in weather conditions. And with that, it's a wrap. I'll leave you now with the weather update for myself and the team. Many thanks for your company. Take care.